All right, folks, greetings to all you lovely 1000 PS friends. Well, at least I hope you are. A motovlog from me again. Rare, but it happens now and then. You could almost turn this into a little guessing game. What bike are we talking about? I reckon most of you will recognize this setup. Yep, it's a BMW, our very own 1000 PS R1300 GS. It's the start of the 2025 season. Second year we've had it in the fleet. The 1300 GS, which we actually bought ourselves, meaning we could spec it exactly how we wanted. This one's the trophy version, the blue, white and red one. Let's drop back into third. Revs go up a bit, and to my ears it just sounds better. Plus, I've got a bit more in reserve if the traffic slows down ahead. Second gear works too, but it does start to sound a bit strained. And sound, now that's a hot topic. A lot of people were a bit let down by the 1300 GS's sound, and many still say they prefer the 1250. The 1250 just had that deeper, punchier sound. The 1300 does have more mechanical noise going on. We've improved things a bit by fitting a Zard exhaust, but honestly, sitting here riding it now, it doesn't really bother me that the sound isn't absolutely thunderous. Then again, at these revs, you wouldn't expect it to be roaring, would you? But yeah, these days it's probably smarter not to be too loud in the first place. I'd say let's all as bikers try to keep a lower profile, stay a bit under the radar so we don't attract too much attention, which could end up bringing even more restrictions our way from the powers that be. None of us wants that, so riding quieter is definitely better. Right, let's head over there. Hands on the bars now, and straight away that unbelievably familiar GS at home feeling kicks in. Everything's just where you want it. Grips exactly where they belong. The ergonomics are absolutely top notch. I'll get to what's new on our GS for this year in a bit. That's got something to do with the seat. We fitted a Wunderlich saddle, and you can already tell just dawdling along slowly like this is no problem at all for a GS with this much displacement. We've got a few other Wunderlich parts on this GS as well, plus a brand new tire. The Pirelli Scorpion Trail 3 is fitted now. It's meant to be one of the sportier ones. And man, it's such a thrill when the front wheel gets light, and this bike really does pull hard as you'd expect. It's putting out 149 horsepower at 7,750 revs. In road mode, it's interesting. The electronics don't give you full power in first gear. So I'll switch it over to dynamic mode. That way I can really open it up in first. And in second gear too, it pulls beautifully. Brakes now, again and again. You see, once you blast out in first, the front wheel actually lifts. So yeah, the brakes really need to deliver. It's an adventure bike, right? It's meant to be a true all-rounder. And of course, the GS absolutely has to be that. A total all-purpose machine, able to tour and tear it up. And I'd say the brakes, well, we've got the sport brakes on our GS. When you're just cruising along, it's quite interesting. At the first light tap on the lever, when you're going slow, makes you think, not super sharp. But as you pick up speed, you realize, yeah, it definitely bites hard. What's fascinating on the GS is this combined braking system. When I hit the rear brake, it immediately starts slowing down quite a bit. And you might think, blimey, what an insanely powerful rear brake they've got. But no, it's combined with the front brake. Now, for experienced riders, that might not be necessary. And I'm someone who doesn't really use the rear brake much anyway. Like, I'm not dragging it through tight corners or anything like that. But for those who do, it might feel a bit odd when you press the rear brake and it suddenly brakes hard. It doesn't bother me personally though. And when you're riding more aggressively, yeah, the comfort changes as well because the electronic suspension adapts to the riding mode. I usually leave it in dynamic mode. I just really like how it behaves there. It does everything just the way I want it. All right, we are heading into more scenic territory now. Beautiful area here, and the roads are empty. It's perfect. So yeah, the modes, dynamics, definitely my favorite. The brakes, I'd say they're the kind you'll appreciate if you like a sportier ride. Sure, there are probably big touring enduros out there that push it even sportier, but with the BMW, as I said, it's built to do it all. Comfort, the suspension gives great feedback and soaks things up really well. There may be other setups that go even further, but I'd say the BMW's is unbelievably well balanced and clever. It just works. Seat comfort, we've got a Wunderlich seat on it now, which also works nicely with the heated seat function, by the way. Compared to the previous one, it feels a bit firmer when you first sit down, but on longer trips it doesn't sink in. So it ends up being more comfortable overall. And it stays just as it is. To be honest, having the foam a bit firmer is probably the smarter option anyway. We've also got crash bars from Wunderlich. These handguards are fitted around the original ones, so they're properly protected too. And around the back there's a little cardan drive guard, really clever. If something ever goes wrong, that way the cardan drive doesn't get knocked loose, which in the worst case could even get damaged and leak oil. This guard is nicely tucked away, totally invisible. Sure, it adds a bit of extra weight to the GS, but honestly I don't think it's a big deal. Ours weighed in at 256 kilos. So yeah, definitely no lightweight. But I find the more you push the GS, the sportier you ride it, the more it seems to love it. The Pirelli tire really helps, brilliant choice. According to Pirelli, a lot of the components come from their Diablo range, so what you're getting is a really sporty touring tire for adventure bikes. It's designed to handle pretty much anything the bike can throw at it. And just like the bike needs to do it all, the tire has to match that. Like I said, for me, dynamic mode is spot on. Dynamic Pro, I've set it up so ABS is off, lets you slide a little into corners if you know what you're doing, right? Then I've got Enduro and Road modes as well. Road's a great mode, no doubt, but I don't really need it. That's why I usually stick with dynamic. And it's great that I've been able to ride a bit on damp roads today. You can really see what modern tires are capable of. I mean, that's what you'd expect from an adventure touring bike, that it grips no matter the conditions. The dash is easy to read too. I think these days you'd be hard pressed to find a bike with a TFT color display that isn't clear to read. But anyway, so yeah, that's our first little moto vlog with the big 1300 GS, which we'll be riding again this season, whether it's cruising or thrashing it, whatever we fancy. But honestly, it's just such a pleasure to lean it into corners so intuitively with the bars. That's what the GS does best. Proper fun, you've got to hand it to it. And if you ever do have a little mishap, well, now the brakes are more than up to the task. Yep. Alright my friends, that's the season opener on the GS. My first vlog for the year. I reckon I've covered everything that came to mind. If there's anything you're still wondering about, anything bugging you, drop it in the comments. This video, I have to say, everything's running really well at the moment. Yes, I know our GS had an engine swap and a relay swap. I'm not going to go into all that now. The way it's running here today, it's just a fantastic bike that's a real joy to ride. If you want to take it easy, you can. And with that, a big heartfelt cheers and goodbye.